In the last video, we tackled revenue projections, but revenue alone doesn't tell you the whole story. At JP Morgan, I learned how accurate forecast projections are just as important for building a reliable model. In this video, I'll show you how to break down the cost so that your model stay realistic. Hello, friends. Welcome back to Wall Street Mojo. This is a part of the financial modeling step by step tutorial, and we have already discussed the first three steps, that is, creating the structure for the financial model, analyzing the historical financial statements, and we have also discussed how to go about projecting the revenue. So, if you have not looked at these three, please do have a look at those videos first before you come to this step number 4, that is, projecting the costs, right? So in order to do that, I'll again go back to the case study here, and then we'll discuss the cost management aspect, which is provided in the management discussion and analysis section. Okay. So Epic Solutions software segment, right? Here, maintaining the cost at 50% by streamlining product development process and optimizing licensing agreements. So what basically it is all about is that Epic Solution has three segments, right? So cost will be 50% of the overall revenue for this segment. Likewise, when it comes to hardware, cost will be 48%. And IT services again will be at 50%. Okay, so I'll go back now to the Excel sheet here, and we basically want to project all the costs in the income statement. So we'll get started with cost of sales for these three because we already know the assumption. So first thing first is we'll do a kind of a historical analysis here. We'll try to figure out how has been the cost of sales as a percentage of revenue for each of these segments, like the software, hardware, and IT services. And then we'll also try to match what the management's projections are all about and if they fall in line or not. Okay, and based on that, we'll put these assumptions in the future as well. So let's get started here with the software segment. So first thing first, I'm linking the respective revenue and the cost, right? So here 12,000 is the revenue. Cost of sales for software segment is how much? This is 6,000 here. Okay. So I have linked these two. So cost as a percentage of sales for that specific segment is 6,000 divided by 12,000, and it comes out to be 50%. How about the margin in absolute terms? This is 12,000 minus 6,000, right? So this is 6,000, right? Million dollars. Now coming to margin in percentage, this will be 6,000 divided by revenue. So when it comes to margins, we basically divide everything by the revenue, right? So in this case, we're trying to figure out the segment margin. So we will use segments revenue. Okay. So here we get this as 50%. Okay. So now that I've done it for 1 year, I can easily copy this and paste it for the other years as well. So what do we see? Cost of sales has been 50%, 50%, and 49.7%. Okay. And we have been provided this same number 50% by the management as well. So we can easily put that number here, that going forward as well in the next 5-year period, this will be 50%. Okay. So now that we have cost of sales as a percentage, do you think we can calculate the software cost of sales in absolute numbers as well? Yes, we can, because we already have the segmental revenue for software, right? And 50% of that will be cost. So let's start by linking this segmental revenue first. The segmental revenue we have already calculated for software, and that is 22,200, right? And 50% of this will be equal to that software cost of sales, right? So this comes out to be 11,100, right? And when it comes to absolute margins, how much will that be? This will be revenue minus cost of sales, and the percentage will be 11,100 divided by 22,200. So it comes out to be 50%. Okay. So what I can do is I can easily copy and paste this block for all the other years as well, so as to calculate the software segment's cost of sales, right? So with this, we are done with this part. Let's now move to the hardware. So here the approach again will be very similar. It will be again, first we'll calculate the historical cost of sales for this segment, and then we'll look at the projections, and based on what we have been provided by the management, we'll put that and forecast the respective cost of sales for hardware as well. Okay, so let's do that fairly quickly. For hardware, the revenue is 85,000 and the cost of sales is how much? That is 4,000, right? So we will get cost of sales as a percentage. This will be 4,000 divided by 85,000. Okay, and absolute margin will be 8500 minus 4,000 and it comes out to be 4500. Percentage will be 4500 divided by 8500 and we get this as 52.9% as the segmental margin, okay, for hardware. I'll copy and paste this for the other years as well. And what do we see? That the cost of sales actually is 47.1, 47.1 and 48%. Okay. And what have we been provided in the case study? That maintaining a stable 48% is what they want to, right? So let's put this 48% here as the assumption, right? And on this basis, we'll be able to figure out how much will be the cost of sales for hardware as well. Okay, so I'll do this pretty quickly. Let's link the revenues first of the hardware segment, which we have already figured out. So this is 14,514 for the year one. So we have the revenues and then let's calculate the cost of sales for hardware. This will be 48% of the revenue. This comes out to be 6966.7. Absolute margin, revenue minus cost, and margin in percentage. Here it will be like, okay, so this comes out to be 52%. And I can actually copy and paste this across for all the years as well in order to find the hardware cost of sales, right? So with this, we are done with hardware cost of sales. Let's now do the same for IT services as well. Okay, so I'll link the respective revenue, 5,000. Okay, cost of sales, this is 2500, right? And let's find out the cost of sales in percentage terms. This is 50%. Margin 5,000 minus 2500. And margin at the segment level, this is 2500 divided by 5,000. It comes out to be 50%. Okay. And I'll copy and paste this for the other historical years. And we see that it's kind of stable at 50%, right? And let's see the assumptions. The assumption says that we'll maintain 50% as COGS. Okay. So we'll put the very same assumption here, 50%. Okay. 50% put. And let's do the same exercise again. I'll link the respective revenues. Okay. And 50% of this revenue is equal to cost, right? For IT services. And let's find the margins. Margins will be revenue minus cost of sales, and let's find the percentage terms as well. This is margin in absolute terms divided by the total revenue. So this comes out to be 50%. Copy and paste this block again and we get the IT services cost of sales as well. Okay, so what's the next step? Now that we have the cost of sales for each of these segments, what we need to do next is basically link it up here within the income statement. Okay, so let me do that. This will be equal to cost of sales is 11,100 here, right? How about hardware? Hardware, it is 6966.7 and IT services, this is equal to 4640, right? So when it comes to the total operating cost, it comes out to be 22,706.7. Okay, this is for year one and I can copy this and paste it for the other years so as to find the overall operating cost for all 5-year period, right? So this is how you can go about calculating the cost of sales, right? But when it comes to the income statement, there are other specific costs as well which are mentioned. Now let's look at SG&A expense. So for understanding that, let's go back to this case study here, and we have been provided with some more details about SG&A expense. SG&A expense are projected to remain fixed at 15% of the total revenues annually, right? So we have this number with us as to how much will this be. We have the total revenues, so we should be able to find SG&A expense, right? And do we have more details from cost side? No, we don't. So let's go back to this case study and SG&A expense for calculating the historical SG&A expense in percentage terms, we'll use this row, that is 60. Okay, so this will be equal to SG&A, selling general and admin expenses, that is 4,000 divided by total revenue here, 25,500. So this comes out to be 15.7 for actuals 1, actuals 2 and actuals 3. So it is 15.7, 15.8 and 15.5%. And what does the management provides information about SG&A expense? It is 15%. Okay, so I'll put this 15% here. And can we now back calculate SG&A expense? Think it should be fairly simple, right? So let's do that. This will be equal to total revenues multiplied by 15%. Okay, so this will be SG&A expense for year 1, and we can copy and paste it for the other years as well. Okay, so with that, we have also calculated the SG&A expense, right? What I want you to also do is to figure out what's the overall gross margins, because we already have the total revenues, we have the total cost, we will have this number as total gross margins, right? So we can easily calculate that, right? It's just a formula, total revenue minus total operating costs. Now, once we have this, can we calculate EBITDA? We can easily calculate EBITDA because EBITDA is nothing but gross margins minus SG&A expense, right? So we have EBITDA for year 1, and if I copy and paste it, we have it for all the other years as well. Okay, so this was about EBITDA. Now coming to depreciation and amortization, I would like you to just mark this as yellow. You remember as we were talking about the steps in financial modeling not being linear. So here I'm marking this as yellow. This means this will be done later. Okay, so we will look at depreciation and capex schedule, and then we'll calculate depreciation and put it here. But for now, we will just skip this step. Okay, so the idea is not to complete the full income statement right away, because as I said, the 3-statement model actually is a to and fro between different sets of financial statements. Okay, so that's the reason why we will just skip it here as of now. Okay, so I can, however, calculate the EBIT, assuming that these numbers are going to come in the future. Okay, now let's move to the next one, that is the interest expense and the interest income. Again, this is going to come later. Now, this interest expense and interest income will actually come from the debt schedule. And if you look at the steps here, this is step number 8. This is where we will get the interest expense and interest income numbers. Okay, so as you can see, non-linear. So all of this will come and get integrated later. But for now, we will adjust the formulas in a way that it assumes that these numbers are going to come. So net interest expense will be interest expense minus interest income. Okay, so we can calculate the EBT, that is earnings before taxes, accordingly, right? So we have these numbers as well. Now coming to the tax part of it, tax can be easily calculated by looking at how much has been the effective tax rate historically. So as we see here, we have paid taxes, right? Apex Solution has done that over the period of time, right? So we can calculate the effective tax rate, that is how much was the overall rate on earnings before taxes. So let's do that calculation here. We have this row number 62 for that. So this will be equal to tax, that is 1325 divided by 5700. So this will give us what's the tax rate, the effective tax rate here applicable. Okay, so 23.2, 23.4 and 23.6. So if I look at the average here, it comes out to be somewhere around 23.4%. So let me do one thing. I'll just use 23.4% as the effective tax rate that will be applicable for the next 5-year period as well. So I'm copying and pasting it here, right? And this is what we are going to use in order to calculate the overall tax. Okay, so let's do that here as well. This will be equal to EBT multiplied by 23.4%. So this comes out to be 3834.8. I'm copying and pasting it for other years. And let's find out the net income now. So the net income is 12553.3 for year 1. Please note that we have completed the income statement, but the ones which are marked in yellow are yet to come. So this is the steps in financial modeling. We will just finish the income statement right now, but all the other things are going to come at the later point in time, right? So with that, we are done with step number 4, that is projecting the costs. All right.